So typically when we add a connection string, we use the app settings JSONs for it. You could hardcode it directly in the application, but app settings.json is a configuration file that can be used to have the connection string, and it's a common practice. So after we have the allowed host, I'm going to add the connection string. So I'll use a comma, and I'm going to specify that I want to add connection strings. And notice it's strings, plural, because you can have multiple connection strings because you can use multiple databases. So I'm going to add one, and we only will have one. And the one I want, I'll simply name song context. So that's the name of the connection string. And to add it, use the quotes, and in it we specify the server. And in our case, all we want is the local DB server. And after that, we use 2 slashes because we need to escape the character. If I use only one, it would be underlined, as you can see. So it escapes the slash and adds a regular slash. And after that, we will specify what database we want. And we want the MS SQL local DB. So it's the MS SQL local DB. So that is the server that we run. We have in a local DB and we're running MS SQL on it. Now we will specify the database itself. So this is gonna be the database name. So this is the name of the database that's gonna be created once we create our database. So I'll simply name this database songs. And now we will specify the connection, whether it's trusted connection or not. And in our case, it's a trusted connection. We don't have to log in. So it's gonna be trusted underscore connection set to true. And I'm going to add one more parameter, and that's gonna be multiple active results set. This is a feature that works with SQL Server to allow the execution of multiple badges on a single connection. So I will specify multiple active result sets and set it to true. So this is our connection string. We have the property called connection strings, and then we have this particular connection string called song context. In it we specify the server, the database name that's gonna be created, we specify that we trust this connection, and that we can execute multiple badges on this single connection. Now with this done, it's still not ready to connect to the database. In order to do that, we have to go to startup.cs and make some changes here. And the changes that we need are in the configure services. We need to configure the service for the DB context. And in it, we will specify the connection string for the database that we want to connect to. So after we add the service for controllers with views, which is our MVC service, we'll add another service. And the one we want is to add DB context. And inside we specify what DB context we want to add, and it is our song context. That is our class that we created for our context. And now we can specify a lambda with options. So we'll create an options that goes into, and we'll go to our options dot, and what we want to do is to specify that we want to use an SQL server. So we have an use SQL server. As you can see, it configures the context to connect to the Microsoft SQL server. And in it, we specify the connection string, so we know what database we want to connect to. So we'll go to configuration dot, and we will get connection string for the SQL server. And the string that we want is our song context. Remember, in app setting JSON, this is the name of the connection string. It has to be spelled exactly the same. So that is gonna be our connection string. And I'm missing one more parenthesis because this is all part of the options lambda. And with that, we are now ready to create a database. So let's do that next.